Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy and for today's video we're going to make this gorgeous little treat holder. It holds a full-size Kit Kat inside and I've made this for a teacher, but the great thing is this design could be used so many different occasions. Let's get started. All the supplies I'm using for this treat holder are on your screen. I love that this treat holder holds a full-size Kit Kat. We're using some of the new Designer Series paper in the annual catalogue. This is called Flowers for Every Season. You can buy it now and it's lovely. It's such a pretty Designer Series paper kit. We're using some scraps and a piece of that Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. The treat holder is made with Poppy Parade cardstock. This one measures 3 3/8 by 9.5 inches and we're going to score on the 3 3/8 side at 1/2 inch, and then again on the 9.5 inch side we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 4.5 inches, 5 inches and 9 inches. You can find all those measurements and supplies over on my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description and also on the screen. Okay, so I've got the bone folder in now to burnish on all those score lines. Now if you're making 3D projects, the bone folder is the best tool to have in your arsenal. Bringing the paper snips in now, I'm going to snip up on each of those score lines up to that score line that we've made. And then going back through on those little squares, we're just going to notch out on either side. This helps the box to go together really well. Now I'm using tear and tape to pop this treat holder together, but liquid adhesive would work really well as well. So I'm just working out what side I need the adhesive down on. There is no forgiveness too much with the tear and tape, so you need to make sure that you're paying attention when you're using it, but I've just popped it on the inside corner there, as well as the one next to it, the tab next to it. Box goes together really easily. I'm poking the bone folder down just to make sure that it's got full adhesiveness there. Fits in perfectly. Now I've got the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper here. This measures 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, and there are so many different designs that you could choose from, but I really like the stripes in this case. So just gluing it down with the liquid adhesive. Now moving on to our elements there, which I'm showing you here, the stamps from the Harvest Hello stamp set that we're using, and I'm using some scraps. So I have the Poppy Parade card for our apple, and I'm using Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp that one down. We have a piece of Granny Apple Green and I'm stamping 2 of those leaves, and then I have a piece of the new ink colour. It's Cinnamon Cider, and that's just for that little stem. The sentiment, I have a piece of scrap Whisper White. We're using Poppy Parade ink, and it's a really nice sentiment for teachers. So to an A+ teacher. I have the apple punch that I'm using to punch out all those shapes, but if you don't own that, that's okay. You can certainly fussy cut it. They're really easy little pieces that can be cut out easily. There we have it. Now with the sentiment, I'm just going to cut out with my paper snips. Very easy to fussy cut. To pop the apple together, I'm using here the glue dots, but liquid adhesive would work really well. I'm placing the stem at the back and then the 2 leaves towards the front. This box is actually a little bit different to my first sample, and I'll show you the difference very soon once we start getting the apple together. But here we are. I'm just cutting out that sentiment. Usually I'm not too good at cutting out sentiments, but I didn't do too bad. This is the crinkled the crinkled ribbon in Whisper White. I'm using 18 inches, and we're going to use the dark Poppy Parade stamping blends. Now if you have white ribbon and any stamping blends, you can change the color of your ribbon to any color that you have in the stamping blends. These are alcohol-based markers. They dry really easily, and it's a really great way to change your supplies to match whatever you're creating. So I've just tied a nice little bow at the front of that box there, getting rid of all those edges. So moving on to our apple, I'm going to place some dimensionals to give it a little bit of a pop-up, and it's going to be on the top and bottom of that ribbon there as well. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the Wink of Stella. Popping up that sentiment as well, I'll come back to that. So bringing the Wink of Stella in, on my sample I coloured in the leaves and the stem with the Wink of Stella. For this one I'm using the Wink of Stella on the apple as well. It just creates a gorgeous shine. Placing the sentiment down, I'm going to bring in the fine tip glue next. This works like we used to have glossy accents. It works the same way. Now my fine tip always blows out a few bubbles at the start, so I like to start it off on just a bit of scrap. And I'm going around my leaves, my stem, and then on either side of the apple where there's that little marks. It does take a little bit to dry, so you do need to leave it to dry a little bit. Which one do you prefer? Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. Now, the great thing about the Harvest Hellos stamp set, which is what's been used, there's some really great sentiments in here that can be changed around for different sentiments on your treat holder. So this one was for teachers, but there's some really great varieties on that set as well. Now, if you haven't hit subscribe, please do that. I would love to see you again back here for another video. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.